Hey, great people. Thank you for joining us. Yes, yes, yes. The faces you'll be seeing shortly will be those of Doctors Amara and Gospel
Amaugo.
Amaugo. And it is such a delight to be celebrating with them. This is an anniversary edition. So we'll be having them shortly. Let's get them out. Let's get them out. Come on. Where are the couple? Where are you, lovely people?
Here we are.
Hello.
Yes.
Yes, yes. Oh, look, that handsome and beautiful face. It's so good to see you again.
Thank you, thank you. And it's so good to be on our platform. A bit like,
It's
it's
a reverse thing.
like you're in your house, but you somebody else is
On the other
hosting
side.
you in your house.
It's a delight for us to be hosting you today. It is a pleasure.
It's
You
a
want to
big
say
pleasure.
something before we get them going?
Well, it's nice hosting you guys for this particular edition. For us, anniversaries are very important because
Yes.
a lot of principles, a lot of tips of things that have helped you through the years, and many people are happy to hear you guys to learn one or two things, glean from your stories. I think it was Steve Jobs that says that the most powerful person in the universe is a storyteller. We want to hear your story. What
Yes.
has been that thing gluing you together? So that's what
Okay, so please introduce yourselves. Tell us who you are and what you do.
Okay, I think you have
No,
to
you
go
go
first.
first. They say
I Ladies first.
Ladies first after men. But anyways,
Yeah.
I'll go first. You already know me. My name is Amara, and myself and my husband, Gospel, we co-host or we steward on Relationship Builders Forum, and this is a forum where we talk about love, we talk about sex, we talk about relationship. We believe in intentional relationship. We believe that no relationship can die if you actually give it attention. And this is something that is so strong in our heart, and we just love to see relationship blossom. We love to see relationship take the next level or the next flight in terms of how they go about doing their relationship. So so that's me in a nutshell.
that's us in a nutshell. So I'm gospel, and when it has to do with what we do in terms of day-to-day activities, we try to empower people as well in our sphere of influence with regards to our profession. Both of us are lecturers at different universities, anyways, and different areas, because I'm doing more of public health and my wife is human resource management.
Yeah. Okay, so I see that some people are already viewing us live, and I just want to warmly welcome everybody who.
That's very fine. That's okay.
Sorry.
Thank you for joining us, everyone. Just feel free to drop your comments in the comment section. If you have questions for them, please drop them there. You may want to ask them why the glow as much as the dew. No question is prohibited here. Okay, so how are you feeling today? We know in a few hours it will be your 13th anniversary. How are you feeling?
Well, for me, I'm always excited when it's time for us to celebrate our anniversary, because I would always remember the eve of our wedding. It's something I always imagined where I was, what I did at that point, and how the wedding went from the start to the end, and how we went on a honeymoon. The first night, what happened? It brings memories. Don't go
You
there.
want to
It
go
brings
there?
memories. When you're thinking about, this is the love of your life. You've been longing to be together as
But
husband and
nothing
wife.
happened on the first night.
I'm not saying anything happened. I said how we stayed together. You're cutting me. So for
He's
me,
excited.
for me, every time we celebrate our wedding anniversary is a memorable occasion, and it brings those opportunities we had to make commitments, to tell each other how much we loved each other and how much we want to be in this together. And today we see evidence of those, one-to-one in commitment, I would say. So for me, it's a wonderful day. I'm super excited.
If I may ask, Amara, what does anniversary mean to you?
What anniversary means to me?
Yes.
For me, is a reminder. For me, is an important milestone. It's a marker. It's something that I don't know what other word to use, but basically, my wedding anniversary reminds me so much of that day that I took the sacred vow, to stay in this relationship. I know that, these days out there, it's not very trendy right now, especially when a lot of marriages and the way it's being looked at, from a particular people's view in terms of if the marriage is not working, you just have to step out of the relationship. But that day is a reminder for me for the solemn vow that I took to stay committed to this relationship through thick and thin. So regardless of what happens in that relationship, I have to stay there. I have to stay committed, and I have to be intentional about making sure that I am feeding the relationship the right, kind of food. I'm giving it the right ingredients. I'm creating the right atmosphere for it to blossom. So that's what an anniversary means to me. I cherish it. And for me, this anniversary has been quite reflective for me, because I actually took time to think about my journey, prior to now. I think it gets me a bit emotional, but it was just more like thinking about where, how far we have come together. So it's been amazing, because it's sort of like a testimonial to the fact that regardless of what you think your relationship is facing or what season you think you are in terms of your relationship, it can't survive. You can't navigate that season. And that's what my relationship have taught me over time.
Beautiful.
Awesome.
Beautiful.
Awesome.
Beautifully articulated, I like to say.
Yeah. Okay. So it would be great to know how you both met. Do you want to tell us how you both met, please?
I like that laugh.
How we met? We met where we met.
Okay, break it down.
We know, but for your audience, let's break it down.
I'm just trying to be.
I know.
Yeah, we met at the university.
Yeah.
In fact, I remember the first day I saw her as a
human.
And in fact, it was at the university in a fellowship when it was a Bible study on a Tuesday.
Yeah.
Wow.
So he came in as a new student. And
jump it.
No way. So, my fellowship then, we had a library, and I heard someone sing. I was like, wow, this person has a good voice. And as someone who is passionate about music, and we are looking for members to join our
wow.
interested in the person, not for any other reason.
Of course.
To be part of the choir.
Of course.
It happened that, one thing led to another. We became friends.
One led to another. Nothing led to another.
No.
What I mean by that is,
okay, that's his version. I'll tell you my version when it's done.
As time progressed, we started talking, started to know what was our vision as a woman like, just action like any other person. She wasn't the only person I was interacting with, but I saw something unique about her, which captured my interest in the course of our, relating as friends. It became obvious. It became, I became super convinced that this person, we have to do life together.
Wow.
Say more than that.
Wow. I like something you say. Sometimes we say to singles, don't just wait and be waiting for a man or for a woman that you want to marry. In the place of service, he said something. He said while she was singing, she didn't go there and say, I'm looking for a spouse. While she was singing, something that you're doing, that you are adding value, that's the place that people will find you. He wasn't looking. He was looking for someone to add value to the fellowship. He was scouting, trying to recruit. In the process of trying to recruit, this is my own, what I'm extracting from that. In the process of trying to recruit, you recruited more than you wanted to recruit. You recruited a life partner. But it was in the place of you also trying to render value, because you were in that position where, you know, you had to look after other people. You were managing. You said you were the one leading the choir. Yeah. So that's what I think. I think that in the place of rendering service, people are found. People are found, and that's really powerful. Let's hear your own version.
I can see someone putting on the chat. I think it's Kels. I know her. I know that name. And she's saying it's love at first. It wasn't love at first sight too. At all. It wasn't love at first.
It was love at first discovery.
Me, I saw him as a brother.
Yeah, like a brother to you.
No, guys, calm down. I saw him as a brother. And I'm being honest, like, because for me, I didn't have an elder brother. So it was pretty much when the relationship evolved, like from the time he said he saw me. In fact, I didn't even remember until he reminded me that was the time he saw me. But when the relationship evolved, you know, he was that person who I saw that this guy he has focus. Like, he's not everywhere. He's not just all around the place. He kind of seems to have it like all packaged, and you know, he had a focus. And it was what really I admired about him. I really admired. I admired the fact that he was willing to learn from me, although I was a woman. And that's there, because that was something I found really awkward. The cultural background we came from, and you know, kind of. I don't know if would you mind me sharing it? Okay, so when I met him, there was a question I asked him around, you know, what is your financial plan like? What are you doing? But he didn't have an account.
Yeah, he asked me, how much do you have in your bank account?
Yeah. I think that was the question. Like,
we were not
talking as a friend.
We're not talking about marriage. So that you guys
exactly
trying to do some background check or something like that. No, we were not talking about marriage. At the time, I was just feeling like, okay, this is another person, and I really wanted to know more about him. So I asked, how much do you have in your bank account? I don't have a bank account. What? You don't have a bank account? You have to open a bank account. By the next time you see me, well, people who know me is that very direct.
Yes.
And I did say to him, when next I see you, please, can you make sure you open a bank account? And he said, I think I need to save up a certain amount of money to open a bank account. I said, no, you can open a bank account with 0 naira. That was the card. And I told him that. And shockingly, the next time he came to me and showed me the passbook, the checkbook, and opened a current account and a savings account. And I was like, wow. Because I mean, it was just, for me, it was just like a random conversation, but he took it seriously and he actually acted on it. So that got my attention, you know, that kind of got my attention. I was like, this is interesting. He didn't challenge the fact that, why do you have to tell me to do this, you know, that sort of thing. So I really was, I would use the word at home with his disposition, you know, towards listening and accommodating what the other gender will have to say. And consider the fact that at the time, I had been in a situation where I wasn't quite considered. So when I say something, I'm not taken seriously by men. So you're just a woman. So for me, that was like, wow, I spoke to him and I did something and he acted on it. So that for me was big. And I felt this person is a very good person and I can really, you know, connect with him as a friend.
You connected with me. Yeah.
I did connect with him. But I wasn't looking at him because I looked at the looks, right? Some of you I say, oh, like someone say, oh, your husband is such a handsome man. Now he's handsome now.
I'm always handsome.
I think he's always been. I think he's always been handsome.
You've been there from the beginning.
Yes.
Now, but at the time, I was like, I don't want to get married to people who are fair. You know, these women. We had our list now. We have, you know, the scale. You know, we have our list. We have to be tall, dark, and you know, whatever. I had all the things I had down, and he didn't tick the box In fact, now he's even fresher now because then.
Oh, wow.
Oh no, you were fresh.
Can I come in now? I think you've spoken for too long now. It's my turn.
Okay.
I think the key point for us, let me speak for her as well.
Mm-hmm.
The fact that we had common values, we had common principles. That's for me, and I think it's mutual as well. When it has to do with integrity, setting boundaries, what's your plan, focus in life, those were the conversations we had, not because we wanted to get married, but because we felt two friends, what are you guys doing? Each time we met, what do you want to do in the next 5 years?
Yeah.
What's your plan? So the conversation became a rallying point for us.
Yeah.
That we kind of knew that we can do things together.
Yeah.
Not just as friends, but in terms of marriage, saying I want to get married to you, that's a different story
Conversation
altogether.
Yeah, because let me just sorry for continuing
Okay,
going. Let me just say this because this is something that really helped me personally. I'm not saying it because I finally got married to him. I mean, he's somebody that if we didn't get married to, possibly he would still be my friend till now because of how much of value that he added to my personal self-development. And I can still remember that at the time then when we used to, catch up and we have meetings, then it wasn't like marriage was a thing then, but it was like, I felt like I had an assignment to do. And I needed to show that assignment to my teacher because it would be like, we meet and there'll be a target for when next. So what are your goals in the next 5 years? What do you want? Where do you see yourself in the next 10 years? And I felt that, oh my goodness, these are such deep questions. And somebody challenging me to kind of like put them down and set milestone was such a huge ask. But I would say that kind of shaped a lot of our conversations. So we made a lot of discovery, not just of myself, but of himself as well. And possibly the things that we needed to work on towards our personal self-development. And I remember that one of the areas that was very, very critical was around our spiritual goals. So we had like 5 facets where we set goals for. There was like financial, there was like the spiritual, there was the physical, there was the, like building up yourself. I think it was self-development. And there was another
ministry,
one. And ministry, yes, that was another one. So we had all of those and we set like goals. Yeah, so the personal ones we didn't do together. So the personal ones we had to do separately. So basically, I would say that sort of forged the tone of the relationship. So I found myself, even when I was still at a phase prior to when you asked my hand in marriage, I would always go to him to talk about relationships that I had, even though we were close friends. I would discuss that with him.
Fantastic. I think one key thing I learned from this is the ability to, usually when people get married, sometimes singles make this error. When they want to get married, then they now go outside their internal circle of friends, to go and probably say yes to somebody they don't really know well. I mean, you guys build something, solid friendship. Mm-hmm. You knew by someone discussing their goals, automatically you will know their values. You know their direction. It's just like a default thing. So you begin to know. So even though marriage was not in the offing, marriage was not in view, but the fact that you guys were interacting, you're sharing your direction, you get to know. So I think friendship is very critical. Someone will say marriage is one long friendship. Mm-hmm. It's if you are able to build a solid friendship before you say, yes, I do, I think things will, and you guys are testimonies to that.
Okay, so at what point did you decide, would be to you, Dr. Gospel, at what point did you decide, I think I'm going to marry this lady? And what were the qualities you saw in her that made you reach that decision? Because I want to believe you had other female friends around at the time. So what was it that made her special?
See why someone...
This one I have to clear my ears.
I rushed the account. Anyways, to be honest with you, I started thinking about who to get married to on time. And because before I met her, I I had relationships, and having those relationships helped me to fine-tune the qualities I was looking for in a wife. One, I was looking for someone who is natural in the sense that you don't need all the externals to believe in your beauty as a person. For me, it was a key thing because it shows that you have confidence in how God has made you. Okay, that was one point. Another point was the fact that I needed someone who has values that I can work with, because for me, life principles, values are key. There are things even now I cannot compromise because of my faith, because of my belief in God. People do certain things, but there are things I cannot do. Okay, even though I know those people might be Christians and all of those. So I was looking for someone who is authentic. My wife is someone, what you see is what you get. She doesn't pretend. Okay, if she's upset with you, you will see it, you will know it. Anyone who knows her knows that. If she's not happy with you, she will share her views. So I needed someone who, if I say this is you, I know I'm getting you the way you are. Okay. And one thing with her is that she never for once pretended to me. So I saw the authentic part of her. I saw that she had so much to offer. I saw she has a good heart. I saw that she has so much potentials, even though those talents were still in the raw phase. And I believed in her. Okay, so I started thinking, if I am to get married to someone, who should it be? I thought about other people I've met, and for me, she ticked the box because for me, she has the principles, and she was someone who was willing to be led by me in terms of direction, telling her, okay, this is what I want us to do. And she bought into it. Let me give you an instance. While we were at the university, I got a vision to run a ministry, which is, then we called it Read to Rock. Then we started planning a conference about sex and your soul, and I shared it with her. She was the first person I told, and she bought into it, not just buying into it, saying, how do we do it? When are we starting? You see? So for me, I saw her as someone who will push me to become the best version of me. And this is what has happened in my life, because she coming into my life transformed me. I learned from her at those phases. I'm still learning from her. It will shock you. When we started, I wasn't confident when it has to do with communication. Okay. And I needed to cross all my T's and dot all my I's before I say what I wanted to say. And she was someone who was willing to listen to me, who was willing to believe in me and believe that, yes, you might be at your raw phase because of your background, because of different factors, but you could develop and be the best that you can be. So for me, those are the qualities I saw. And I became convinced that this person is my wife. I don't want to go spiritual about it, because I can tell you that I have 1001 spiritual reasons that I knew that God wanted us to be together. But for people not to take that and run with it, let me stick to the fact that I knew that she's someone I loved. I love so much that even when she has offended me, I'll be happy to apologize to her so that we can feel happy and move on. So I tested my love for her, because I knew that my makeup, if I don't love a woman, we might have issues in the future. And I knew that I loved her, and I couldn't, where you want to walk away from someone, you find it hard. So even when I'm so upset, even now that we're married, she knows I'm so upset. It's just for her to say, honey, it's okay. And that's it. So for me, that sold it. I knew. And I'm happy I took that decision. And I'm also happy that she accepted to get married to me. Because sometimes I think, what would my life be today if we didn't get married. Maybe I will be married somewhere and I'll be thinking, oh, how I wish I got married to her, you know. But let me stop here.
Awesome. Awesome.
Fantastic. Let's hear. So why did you say yes to him?
Why I said yes to him?
I'm sure you had many other offers.
I did actually. I did. There was, say someone would say the person. What's that? There's a Nigerian expression, and this person is hot cake.
You were hot cake.
No, at the time, calm down.
You're thinking now.
I'm on the market now, so
Yes, well taken.
hot cake for you, not hot cake for any other person.
Yes.
So that's a Nigerian expression, anyways. So saying yes to him, it actually took me time to say yes to him. I'll say that because I was someone who I really wanted to be sure that this, if I get into this, it's going to be for life. So I didn't want to gamble. And actually, it took a whole year after he asked my hand in marriage for me to say yes to him. Now, I wouldn't expect everybody listening or singles listening to me now to run with it and say, oh, it's going to take me 1 year to say yes. Please, because everybody's experience is totally different. And for me at the time, there was quite a lot that I needed to unpack. Personally speaking, there was quite a lot I had to come to terms with in terms of my journey. So possibly that's why it took me that long to come to a point where I had to trust that this in itself is the right decision for me. And then I had to say yes to it. I'm someone who is very intentional about it. Now, in the period of 1 year, I had to do a lot of assessments of myself personally and where I stand in terms of my relationship with him. So I'm going to be Mr. Gospel's helpmate. I had to ask myself, what help am I going to bring? What help am I going to render to him? And how willing is Mr. Gospel to accept the help that I'm willing to render to him? Because this is something that is very frustrating in a lot of relationships. So somebody really is coming in to be a helpmate and willing to render help, but then that help is not received. So I needed to be sure that I had the right kind of help. I'm equipped with the right kind of help, and that he is willing to accept the help that I'm willing to accept, to render. So that was very critical for me. I felt, is he someone I can work with? Where do we see ourselves, in terms of the calling cannot be 100%, the same, but to some extent, where do we align? I didn't want that ministry or career or whatever it is to be a point of conflict. So I really needed to be sure that we had some sort of alignment, in that sort of area to some extent. And I felt, yeah, I could. I also said yes to him because he's very flexible. Gospel is somebody who I don't find difficult to have a conversation with. I don't have to figure out my sentences, cross all my T's and dot all my I's before I stand like you're standing before a judge in a court. So I felt this is somebody that is my friend and somebody that I can be vulnerable with. So that was another thing. And I trusted him, I just felt that he was somebody who was visionary. For me, it was such a big thing. For some other person, it might not be, but having a sense of direction was a big thing for me. I wanted somebody who knew where he was going. I just didn't want to come in and then I would just be lost in terms of where am I going? Okay, I'm hearing an echo. I don't know if it's from my side. Okay, so I needed to be sure that, he had a sense of direction, and that for me was very key. And that was one of the reasons why I said yes to him. I did say, there were quite a lot of suitors in the market, but yes,
they didn't meet.
No, not that they didn't meet the standard. I wouldn't say that. Yeah. I wouldn't say that 100%. Not that they didn't meet the standard, but I didn't want to be a trophy wife. Let me say that. I didn't want to be a trophy wife. I didn't mind if at the time Gospel wasn't where he is now. Not that he's arrived, but where he is now. I didn't mind to grow with him, because I felt if we grow together, there's quite a lot in terms of how we can enrich ourselves together. There's a lot of experience. It was a bit challenging, but that's something personal. That's what I didn't want. So I didn't want to just be someone that would be put on the shelf. That's it.
Fantastic. Fantastic. So we're kind of piecing up the common things, like they say in research. Common values. From that common values, you build relationship. You build, by relationship, I mean friendship. All right. From that friendship, you got to know this person. Then, you know, some people used to say, oh, love at first sight. Oh, but you guys moved beyond that. You guys looked at what value is this person going to offer? Because at the end of the day, after you love the person, and then you guys get married, that will be real life. Then you have to say, that's a problem on ground. What value is she bringing? She even got to the point of saying, I know this guy likes me. I know I like him as a person. But if I'm going to say yes, what value am I going to be? Am I going to bring? I just don't want to be that trophy wife that, oh, she has said, yeah, just hang out on the wall. Let's continue our normal life. No, I want to be relevant in the scheme of things. I want my ideas to count. I want to be able to have a voice in the whole mix, you know, not just a woman that is just a pretty face that, you know, asks her, okay, my business is struggling. What can I do? Sorry, I don't know. This one, well, I don't know. This one, I don't. Which one do you know? You know, it's about having value, and that's what gives you a stake in the conversation. So I think this is one of the key things about the 21st century women. They are looking for ways where they add value. They're just not looking for that person that will just keep them somewhere and then they terminate their career, terminate their purpose, terminate things that they want to do for themselves. So this is really, really laudable.
Really good, really good.
Yeah.
Laudable. Yeah. Okay, so let's get into marriage now. How would you describe your marriage so far? How has your experience of marriage, how has it been for you?
Do you want to start?
No, you can start.
She's reflecting.
I think my smile summarizes it because
oh wow.
Yeah, to be honest with you, there is no point of pretending when you're struggling in your marriage. There is no point pretending. Okay, marriage is such a beautiful thing, and if it's beautiful, you know it. If it's not beautiful, you know it as well. And I will say to you, from day one, it has been a beautiful experience.
Oh, I think
okay. I think they'll be back soon. So please, if you have any question, please post the question in the comments section. If you have questions you want us to ask them, post the question in the comment section. We're going to definitely ask them. Yeah. Okay.
And just something I wanted to react to. Unfortunately, they're not here. When she was speaking, she said, I understand that I understood I would be his soulmate. But I also wanted someone who would accept the help. Do you want to react to that? Because it is sad as a woman if you're coming in and yes, you're a helpmate and it's meant to be that you're a helpmate suitable for this person.
Wow.
But then you are offering the help. Hey, I'm here. Use me. And the help is not being accepted.
You know, sometimes some men will tell you that, hey, that it depends on how the help is being rendered. Some, you know, there's a way to present something to a man. There's a way to present something to a woman, the way that they accept. Sometimes about the presentation. Sometimes about the ego of the man. They think that because I'm a man, I know it all. Because I'm a man, my ideas are superior. Because I'm a man, I'm the only one that hears from God. No, you are a human being. And the reason why, no matter how intelligent a man is as an individual, no matter how intelligent I am, I can never know everything. There is something that you bring. There's a perspective that you are going to bring. But maybe because you're a woman, maybe because you have some experiences that I don't have, maybe because you have been to some places that I've never been. So it will be foolhardy, it will be unwise for me to look at your years of experience, your level of education, and not to discount the value you're bringing. I am the one that I'm going to be losing. In fact, not just me, the family will be losing. It's like, I'm in human resources. So you bring people, there's something we talk about equality, diversity, and inclusion. So you have a system whereby different people are coming on board. Someone who is from Asia Minor, someone that is from Europe, someone that is from Africa, some are from South Africa, South America, and you are thinking that because you are in this space, you know what everybody should know. No, you should leverage, you should tap into the, you should be able to harness the diversity of the people, and that's what we're talking about here. You know, where it's not just, we're reacting to what you said, Dr. Amara, when you were saying that, you know, you also wanted to be sure that they can accept
the help.
You know, so she was asking me to react, and I said it's to be foolhardy for a man to view his wife, you know, with the level of experience, level of exposure, level of education, and not to value her perspective on issue. You will be losing out. You will be losing out completely. So, welcome back, guys. You like to finish your comments?
Yes. So I was saying that for me, it's been a wonderful journey. There is no pretense about it, because sometimes people think when you smile, when you make posts about your relationship, that you're just doing it for public show. No, it's not like that. Those of my friends who have been able to interact with us within our space, they can attest to that fact that I love my wife from the depth of my heart, and I've been enjoying my relationship with her, you know, from day one. First year, it's not like we don't have challenges.
Yeah.
Like, what I know is that whether you're single or married, life is colored with challenges, and the challenges are the exercises you take on to build your mental muscle, your spiritual muscle, to build yourself as an individual. So you can't run away from challenges. But within the marriage, it's part of life. Okay, for any level you get to. So in marriage, we've had our shares of challenges, but it doesn't mean that those challenges are bigger than what we share. We share authentic love, authentic self, because we are not pretending to each other. You know, we are ourselves. So I've enjoyed every part of it. I've enjoyed the first year, the 5 years, when we didn't have any child, when we had our baby, 10 years. In fact, our 10th year anniversary, it was like starting all over again. You know, it was something else. So, and now this is our 13th year, and it doesn't even feel like we've been married for 13 years. It doesn't even feel like we've known each other for more than half of our lives, because I know I've known my wife for a long time, you know, even before we got married. So it's been a beautiful journey, which we are confident that the journey will keep on, you know, progressing, moving from strength to strength, from glory to glory. This is not the best of us, you know. There is
awesome.
What's coming. Thank you.
Awesome. Fantastic. Well, I think we have someone who is trying to say hi to us there. We say hi to you and then we'll move on. Fantastic. So, Dr. Amara, I would like to say something. How has it been? How has your experience been so far?
Well, for me, it's been an amazing experience. I would say, like I said, it's a journey. It's a journey. And my destination is, I can only say blissful, great. But there's been like undulating experiences along the way. And I would say that that's what has really built us. Now, let me just say this here, because when I was still quite young in marriage, I was very reactive to the challenges that we encountered. But I came to a point where, and it took me, you know, it took me a lot of reflection to get to this point where I came to understand that the challenges that you have, or the challenges that you experience, like my husband was saying, it's only meant to build you up. They are like muscles. They're like exercise that builds your muscle. So I came to embrace my journey in that sense. I came to accept that there is something unique about every challenge I face. And if I'm encountering a challenge, the challenge is there to ensure that I'm a better person in a specific area. So I always pause to ask myself, what is there to learn about this?
Awesome.
Fantastic.
Rather than, why do I have to go through this?
Fantastic.
Why life like this? I always ask myself, what is the reason? What is the purpose for me going through this challenge? And what is the lesson in this challenge? And that's sort of, that change in perspective helped me massively. So when I experience or I encounter a challenge, I'm not whining about it. I'm not bogged down so hard that it's as if I've lost my sense of direction. Right now, I feel like, fine, this is a challenge, right? But it's different. This is new. I haven't experienced this before. Now, what am I supposed to do with this challenge? How is this challenge expected to make me better? So in that way, it has really helped us. And it has also deepened our communication. Because one of the things that we agreed to when we got married was the fact that nobody is going to face a challenge alone. So if we have a challenge, we must talk about it together. And that has helped me massively because sometimes I could be very like quick, a bit abrupt sometimes, but he would want to process it. He would want to take his time and figure things out. In the early phases of our marriage, I felt, why is it taking so long to come up with a solution? Why is it not, why is it not like this? But it took me some time to realize that actually paid off for me. Having two very different personalities. So gospel is very different from me, right? And it's a good thing because now I see it's a good thing. Before I was like, why is it that you're not like this? Why is it that you're not like that? I kept like it. But now I've come to embrace who he is. And maybe that was something that I had to learn on my journey. Just seeing my spouse, seeing my husband gospel for who he is and loving him for who he is and bringing out the best of him from version of him for who he is and not trying to impose what I want for him. Because we cannot be the same human being. We cannot have the same personality. But being comfortable in the fact that he is his own person and loving him for who he is.
I like the way you're saying it. God.
Yeah. that was something that really helped me to be at peace in my relationship, I must say. Because there are a lot of people who are so focused, and the reason why they are having serious conflict in their relationship is that they have a certain image for their spouse. Right, and their spouse is yet to fit into that image, and that's why it's a bit like waiting for them.
Brilliant. So you're having the best time of your life. That's what I think you said. Yeah, they're having the best time of their lives. I like what you said in terms of how she has been able to grow in the process. Things that has really helped her as a person. And she will be able to point out many things that she's learned along the way.
That she said, one person, you never go alone.
Fantastic.
That's a simple way of putting it.
Fantastic.
If there's a challenge, we both deal with it.
Absolutely.
And I mean that's the essence of a marriage, right? There was something she alluded to as well when she was talking about teamwork. Working as a team. That's why we have each other, and we need to take advantage of that.
And no matter how competent you are, your spouse brings something to the table. If you are the person that is quick in making decisions, you need someone that will be a stabilizing force. That will also help you to reflect and help you cover your blind spots. If you are the person that takes time to take action, you need someone that will be able to be the one that will push so that you don't lose some opportunity. It's about realizing the value that your spouse brings, honestly. And for me, that's been our own experience as well. Another thing that I also liked that you talked about was in terms of you're not trying to change your spouse, because sometimes couples make this error. They feel like their own personality is the best personality. I mean, I run a lot of personality style for couples, and one thing that we emphasize is that no personality style is superior. Every personality style has strengths and weaknesses. The one that you bring and find the one that your spouse has so they can harness it together. Another thing that she also said was about knowing about again, I think not imposing. And I think that the purpose of marriage is not to be the same, but to be one. The purpose of marriage is not to be the same. It's not for Amara to look like gospel and vice versa, but to be one. And that's why I like the point that you alluded to in terms of nobody will go through challenges together. No matter what we're facing, we're going to face it. Our goal is to be one. Fantastic.
Awesome.
So I was going to say to you, so you are having the blast, the best time of your life.
For me, I'm balling. Like
Oh!
I am. See, the truth is that look, you create your world, right? And even the Bible says that, like, you create your world. You speak into existence what you want to see. And my marriage cannot die because I am so intentional, like watching, like this thing has to flourish. It has to blossom, right? So I'm putting all my energy. I was discussing with someone the other day, and I said, you know, next to my creator, my God, like the next priority in my life is my family.
Fantastic.
I can't toy with it because it is something that has been, you know, we talk about the fact that the world is a hostile environment, right? We talk about the fact that, you know, out there is like everybody is hustling, puzzling, trying to, you know, get on top of each other. Even at work, there's this whole like politics and whatever happens. Now, your family is the only safe space that is a gift that God has given to you. The only place where you go and you decompress. Why do I have to kill? I don't have to kill that gift.
Absolutely.
I mean, people are paying to go to rehab. They go to go to a place that creates that environment, and you've got that thing that God is giving to you, and you don't look after it. No. I have said this family, rehab, whatever you want to call it, rehabilitation center, decompression center, stress management center, whatever it is, I would make sure that I take care of it. I would make sure that I pour into it, I deposit into it intentionally. And let me just say here, because a lot of times we, in the course of doing our jobs, our normal routine, you know, secular work, right? We go for trainings. When we want to get a promotion, we go for a particular training that would allow us to get that promotion. We take up a challenge at work, even though it's difficult, but you want to tick that box, isn't it? Right? Because your eyes is on the ball for the next level. What about your relationship? What about your relationship? Why not just give the same attention? Like, I know I have a communication problem. I go for training to learn how to communicate with my husband, right? Because even no matter how angry you are at work, you cannot just blow your fuse to your boss. You can't just fly off the handle to your colleague, right? You try to hold it and then look for words that would not be, you know, incriminating, but or offensive. But with your spouse, you do what? In fact, you shatter everything. You fly off the handle. You somersault. You do all kinds of. And you know the thing is, this is, like I said, it's a gift. So after the world and everything is all like so toxic, this is a place where you come back and you're like, wow, there is peace. I can actually come back home and I cry and they say, oh, this is what I struggled with. I wasn't happy with this, or wasn't happy. And that person is not being judgmental about you. Yeah. So
that's awesome. I like the way he's been looking at you the whole time. He's stealing glasses at you. That's really good. Okay, so if you were to change anything in each other, what would they be?
Good question.
Start.
Yeah, you can. Let me know what you want to change.
Anyway, I think let me add to what she said earlier. I think our marriage is who we are. We create our marriage by becoming the best version of us. Absolutely. You can't give what you don't have. You might have the intention of becoming having the best marriage, but if it's not in you, it's not in you. So most times what we try to do is to build ourselves, build our character, build our competence level, build our commitment level, so that what we have in us will reflect in our marriage. That's how it's been with us. And we've always been working on ourselves because we see life as progressive. Even as life is progressive, you keep on building yourself, developing yourself, because that's a lifetime journey. So one of the reasons we enjoy our marriage is that we can't stay the same. Okay. What I mean by that is we can't stay not finding ways to improve and knowing that if she's happy, I will be happy. So rather than look for happiness, just look for happiness elsewhere. You try to make her happy because she brings happiness when she's happy. And she tries to make me happy as well. And once we understand this, that our marriage is a product of who we are individually, then we do our best to become the best individually. So that when we combine effort, it becomes a safe place. You're talking about safe place. If we don't create that safe place within our marriage, some people would rather stay at work forever because going home is like you're going to a war zone, I would say. So some people would rather find reasons to travel, do other things, and stay away from home. But when you create that good environment, a safe space where both of you can be vulnerable and at the same time not taken for granted, not being judged, then you have the best that you need to have. Now, going to the question of what do I want to change in my wife? Well, one of the things I would want to change, she's looking at me, I can see, is I want her to slow down a bit.
Oh.
Because my wife is such an individual that she has so many things she wants to do. She's doing this, she's doing that, she's doing the other. They are good. And sometimes it could become a pressure point because she wants to achieve a lot, you know. Yes, sometimes it's good to take some time, process what you're doing, enjoy your life as well. It's not just about destination, it's not about changing it, because she loves to impact people. She can give herself to make sure that someone else is happy and doing well. You know, sometimes it's also good to, you know, it's not like you're being selfish, but slow down a bit, you know. Everything it can't happen as fast as you want them to happen. Sometimes maybe it's because of my way of reflecting about life. I see life from the point of manage your circle of influence and stay at it, you know. So I want her to be happy. It's not like she's not happy. She's a happy woman, but she has so much dream. She has so much she wants to accomplish, and sometimes the need to accomplish those become a pressure point. Excuse me. Maybe I'm not emotional. I know what I'm saying. So that's one part I want her to.
Oh dear.
I know she wasn't expecting that.
I wasn't expecting.
The other part that if you say I should change is it's not necessarily changing anything about her, because she has a good heart. She's herself, you know. The other thing you will say, will I say is a change? What I need her to do, not change. Am I free to say that?
Yeah, go ahead. I'm curious.
I really want her to enjoy life that God has given her, you know, because I know God has given her life, you know, and I want her to live long, to enjoy what she has. Let me just stop there so that I don't say beyond what I'm thinking in my head.
He'll tell you the rest of it in the bedroom.
Yes, some of us will be talking.
He'll tell you the rest of it in the bedroom. Okay. But let's hear from you, please.
But she understands what I mean by slow down. It's not like I don't want her to accomplish a lot, you know, but
no, of course not.
She has a lot she wants. Sometimes those, you know, accomplishments, the way she wants them to be done, sometimes becomes a burden, and you can't carry the burden all alone. The burden of the world, the burden of people's needs, the burden of everyone, you know. Sometimes it's not like she's supposed to be selfish, but take out time to enjoy yourself, and because we know that love yourself as you love others, but love yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, let's hear from you. You've not told us what. Is there anything you would like him to change?
Sorry?
Is there anything you would like him to change?
Well, that question was unexpected, to be honest. Change. You to change.
So it appears
She was busy listening to his own perspective. She wasn't thinking of what she was to change. If you want us to pass, you can pass.
It's possible you don't
No,
have
think about
anything.
it.
One thing, just one, I think.
Okay.
I'm thinking now.
Okay, think.
Should I tell them?
I hope I won't be put on the
Just
spot.
one thing. Sometimes when and I think it happens when, you know, men are very like, this is what I want to do. They're like laser focused, doing that thing, right?
Yeah.
Driving it. A lot of other things can be lost. You know, I'm someone who, like, yes, I'm doing something, but I'm picking up stuff like I'm
multitasking.
well, you want to call it multitasking because these days they refer to the term multitasking as if it's a bad thing. I don't see it as a bad thing, but like I'm still sensitive. Let me use that word. I'm still sensitive to pick up what is happening around my surrounding. Okay, and even when I'm having a conversation with him, although I'm like focused on that, I'm not just hearing the sound. I'm listening. All right. Sometimes when you are so laser focused, you can be hearing the sound of my voice, but you're not listening. And you might be asking me that same question later on. I'm like, I just told you about this. It's like, oh, when? I'm like, I tell him, you know, with him, right? My sister would know that sometimes I find it difficult to remember exact details. Like, but with my husband, I remember. I was like, you were wearing a short, you were sitting on this side, on the left side of the bed, and you were holding your laptop and you were typing. You know, I would be very, very specific about that. You know, yeah, that's the only thing. But
yeah, I think we are all work in progress.
Yeah, actually.
Yes, indeed.
I think we are all work in progress. And for me, I think the issue around you have a task, you have a deadline.
Yeah, I know.
Your mind is on it. You want to hit it.
Don't tell us. Tell us. Yeah,
I understand. So it's something I need to take on board.
Yeah.
But on the other part, I think I've said everything I want in terms of change, so that you don't come asking me.
No. I will need to ask you. Later because the other one you kind of you didn't finish it, so I need to know. Let me just state here that with him, it's difficult for me to find something wrong about my husband. It's challenging, and I remember when he asked my hand in marriage, that was something I wasn't very sure about because I felt it was pretending. So I needed, like he said, there was a time he was really, really angry with me, and that was because I pushed too far in terms of wanting to know the level of annoyance that is inside of this guy. Is it the annoyance that is capable of smashing screen? Or is it the annoyance that is capable of doing, it is well? Or is it the annoyance that is capable of giving me that look? Or is this the annoyance that is capable of giving me? So I needed to know. So I think I kind of stretched it too far. And that's something I admire so much about him. You know, there could be a lot of storm raging in different direction, but I don't know how he stays cool. Like sometimes I feel at the time, well, now I know him better, but I felt it was weird, you know, because sometimes I want to talk because that's one way I express myself, like tell him everything. I was like, slow down, don't worry, we'll have a talk about it. And then he's thinking, and that's something that annoyed me. But now I understand it's no longer a point for annoyance. I understand that's how he processes information.
Yeah. I think it's just beautiful for us to identify our differences and celebrate them. So that's really good. All right, so we'll run a bit now. But do you care to share your expectations for the next year?
Well, I think next year is going to be amazing. The reason I'm saying it is last year we had expectations. We knew what we wanted. And I will say to you that we've exceeded those expectations in terms of ministry, in terms of our closeness as husband and wife, in terms of even in our career. I think we've made a level of progress. I don't expect anything to be different in terms of what we share. Some people going into a new year, they might be afraid that who knows what's going to happen. It's not coincidence. Whatever outcome you want to get, you make it happen. Okay. So I expect that if we have this opportunity to talk about our marriage for the last 1 year, there will be more markers, more reasons to say, wow, it's been a wonderful journey, because it should be better as the days progress or as the years go by. So my expectation is that we'll be closer, we will communicate more, we would, possibly travel more to explore life more, move out of our comfort zone, if possible, take some trips, see beautiful places, if it's possible, have more us thing, such that we are happy together. Let me not say more.
Yeah.
Then in terms of ministry, we want to make more impact, because that is the most important part of our union. It is to impact lives, especially in the area of relationship. So many things are happening in marriages. We want to have more impact in the lives of people. We want more marriages to work, to progress. When people hear us, they need to gain value from what we say. We want to improve ourselves again to be able to offer more values to people. So in the next 1 year, you should see a better version of us as people who do relationship.
Yeah.
Okay. Awesome. Okay.
No, go on. I don't know.
But you didn't say something.
Well,
no, if you have something.
Yeah, I do. So in the next 1 year, I have certain expectations. One is around my relationship to my husband. Personally, I would want to add more value to him. And I would also want to help him grow. Help him grow in areas where he would enable me to do that for him. And also to be a better mom. So intentional parenting. I would also want to give value to my son. In ways that I would really want to see him improve in leaps and bounds. And possibly the other things in terms of ministry, we share those together. Someone who is very passionate about, giving back and seeing people improve in different spheres. So hopefully we would be able to reach out to at least 100 marriages, that we haven't quite met ever. 100 new marriages and relationships. That's the target for next year. Yeah.
Awesome. I like that. So you keep talking about, you've mentioned ministry many times. What's your motivation? What's your source of inspiration?
Well, for us, this is why we got married in the first place. Yes, companionship, loving each other, that's fine. But we see marriage as a platform to do bigger and better things. We see marriage as a means, not an end. And for us, the means is to use our lives, our relationship, as a model for other people, so that what we live is what we say, not just saying about marriage for saying sake, but we try to implement those principles. And when they work for us, then we tell you, this is what we do. It could work for you, and inspire people, so that when you see us smile, we are smiling from the depth of our hearts. You see us hold hands, not because we want to do photo ops, because we love each other. It's natural. So we want our marriage to be an example to others, and also want to share our knowledge and our experience with respect to Relationship Builders Forum. This is what we do. We want to share. We want to bring people like you to our platform to also share, because we believe that knowledge is key. It's not good. It's not enough to want to love someone. You might not know how to love someone. And just a line, just a word, just something you might pick up from maybe what we share in our video can be what you need to know how to love your spouse. Loving someone is an action and it's intentional. It's not feeling. So when you feel, I feel like I want to love, no, you need to learn how to. And this is what we want to do. So what motivates us is when we see marriages, being the best that those marriages are supposed to be. For instance, when we think about people we've cancelled, people who their marriages were at the brink of everyone walking away, and you now look at them, they're beaming in love, it's working. It makes us, want to do more. And when you also look at the fact that a lot of singles we've talked to before they got married, now they are married and they're happy, it motivates us. And we know that this is what God wants us to do. Everyone has an assignment. For us, our assignment is to, disseminate the right information on sex, love, and relationship. I can go on and on, okay? But in a nutshell, this is what we live for. And we want, when we die, because obviously we will die, for people to remember that, oh, it's for this couple that I had a better relationship. It's for this couple I made a good decision in my getting married and all of those. Because we want to die empty, okay? Because if you don't do what God has called you to do, the potentials and the giftings He has deposited in you, if you don't do them, you're not dying empty. You want to
That's
answer?
fantastic.
Okay.
We only have something to share.
Fantastic. I like the point of, having that clarity of purpose, because sometimes I think there's a word that says that when people don't have vision, everybody behaves the way they like. People just do their own thing. And one of the things that causes division in marriage, you look at the word division, is two vision. That means two. So when two people are looking at separate decision, people have different compelling priorities. They don't have a unified vision. Sometimes this pulls them in different directions. Not necessarily that they are bad people, just that they are looking at different. So you guys talking about having a sense of purpose. This is the purpose of our marriage. Yes, we love each other, but that's just a platform. We see marriage as a means to an end. The end for us is to see transformation in other people's marriages. And without you realizing it, that drives you together, because we have to talk about your next video, you have to talk about your next program. You can't have misunderstanding with someone that you have to do something with. You have to be intentional. If you are committed to it, you pull yourself in that direction. So I think it's something that couples need to begin to think about. If you've not consciously thought about, why are we together? It's not just about making children. It's not just about sex. It's not just about making money. What is the underlying reason why we're together? Once you find that reason and begin to channel, you begin to develop yourself, because sometimes people discover their purpose for being together. They think they can just jump into it. No, you have to grow to the size of the purpose. If you are the kind of person who lacks communication skills and your purpose requires you to be standing in front of people, guess what? You need to learn to do that. You need to learn how to speak before a camera. There are things you need to learn. So that process. So this is what we would like to encourage couples. And we have one more question.
Yes. Just very quickly. Okay.
Before you ask the final
Okay.
question, I just wanted to share, when we talk about why we do this, I got a message today from someone, and I felt that was for me a reminder to stay solid and to stay the course. And for me, I didn't even know that this was, whatever relationship I had with this individual had transcended to the point where my relationship, and by the way, this individual is single, very much single. So she sent me a happy anniversary message. It's a happy anniversary. I'm super grateful to God for this journey of faith and unending love. Today, when you are recounting the faithfulness and the blessings of God, I also want you to think on the lives that have been touched and greatly blessed by your communion, of which I am one of them. I remember the day I was going to give up on my academic pursuit, and I had a nudge to reach out to you. And indeed, it was one of the best decisions I have made, because I was comforted and instructed. And she talked about the virtual meeting we had and how that ended up in a life-transforming conversation. Thank you for modeling to me what godly parenting is. Thank you for training, and she mentioned my son's name, Emmanuel, in the ways of God. I'm indeed blessed by God to have known this beautiful family. and she went on.
Awesome.
Oh, that's so heartwarming.
For me, someone who is
Definitely.
single, talking about parenting, modeling parenting, that shows quite a lot, right? In terms of, you were talking about storytelling earlier. So it's easy. Talk is cheap, right? People see what you do more and believe what you do more than what you say.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Okay, so what advice do you have for any single out there listening who would like to make the right decision of a life partner?
I think my advice is similar to what Victor said when he was recapping what we said earlier. One is know the person you want to get married to so that you make a decision based on right information. Know the person, because that knowledge is going to help you to stay the course. If you know the person, you know if you can trust this person. If you know the person, you know if you can live with this person. If you know the person, you can make projection, because there are things about people that can change. The physical,
absolutely.
But the core values, they rarely change.
Absolutely.
The wife I married, I think, years ago, is still the same person. The only thing is that you see expressions in terms of her talent, her potentials, but her core value, her person, what makes her who she is, has remained the same. I don't expect her to change. If she changes, maybe something drastic happened that could shift her mindset about life, about faith, about principles. So know what you're going into and build solid foundation before you go into marriage. Even if you're sure you're going to get married to this person, there are core things you guys must discuss and agree, because those things are the things that would move you in the right direction when you're married. Okay, so know the person, build a foundation of relationship with this person. There is nothing now that can break us, because I know my wife. I know her worst, I know her best, and I'm happy with who she is.
Fantastic.
Just to add to what she was saying about knowing the person. I don't know if Chidi and Victor is still there. I think
we're here.
Yes, we're here.
Okay. All right. So just to add to that, a lot of times some singles say, "Oh, that's an awkward question. I don't know if I should ask him." That's an awkward question. I don't know if I should ask her. If you consider it awkward, then you must ask. You must ask those difficult questions, those awkward questions. And that will give you more information, because you're curious. You want to know about it, isn't it? Right? But
absolutely.
For example, things around money, things around, there are certain things you want to ask in terms of how you build your trust with this person, right? And this is someone you're going to be going into and spending the rest of your life with, right? And you need to be having those serious conversations. Have you got any debts, right? Have you taken any loan? When you take loans, what is your repayment span? Life, span of payment. Those questions are challenging questions. It's like really like putting yourself right in front of the person. But if you don't get the answer, you will get a reaction. And it will tell you something. It will definitely tell you, So and it's really, really good that you're upfront, you're open about those things, and don't just wait till marriage, because the person will say, "Well, you didn't ask me all of these questions. Why are you asking me?"
Yeah, that's why you're asking me now.
Yeah.
So because we're talking about knowledge is based on finding out. So you should be willing to excavate. You should be willing to find out. I'm not saying dig into somebody's past or whatever, but there are certain things that has to be known before you get married. Okay. You just have to know those things.
Yeah. Very good. Some couples might be looking at you and thinking, "Oh, they're so happy. Is that really possible?" Because I think we saw this thing earlier today, and someone was talking about how cynical sometimes people get when they say that they have a great time in their relationship. So for any couple sitting back and thinking, they look happy. I think I can tell they're happy. But how can I be this happy in my relationship? How can we get to this point where we are married and loving it? What would you say to anyone in that position?
Well, for the sake
go on.
For the sake of time, I don't want to say a lot now, because we've done a lot of videos on our YouTube channel where someone can just watch and see the things we've said on how to have the best marriage. What I would say is, let two of you be willing to make it work. Be open to have, marriage is simple. People complicate it. Simplify your life. Let the person simplify his or her life. Once both of you are willing to make life simple, you enjoy life as married people. It's like when you have a relationship with your sibling and you guys are just, you laugh when there is need to laugh, you quarrel when there is need to quarrel, you settle, you eat together, you do everything together, if such is your experience. That is how it should be in marriage. It shouldn't be complex. Put off the, I'm the man, you don't know you need to submit to me, I'm the head. Just be a normal person and live a normal life. If you need to improve on yourself, if you're wrong and you're a man, apologize to your wife. If you're wrong as a woman, it doesn't take anything from you. It doesn't make you lower than the man when you say, honey, I'm sorry I did this. I'm sorry about it. Let's be humans. Let's be normal. Let's be simple. And once we have that mindset, life and our marriage becomes simple, I would say.
Fantastic.
Okay. I think on that note, we would like to say happy anniversary.
Happy anniversary to you both.
Yay. If you're still on this show, you might want to drop some comment, leave some comment, let them know how loved, how valuable, just how sweet they have been all through these years, depending on when you got to know them. Dr. Amara, you look like you want to say something.
I just wanted to add something, because you talked about people watching and thinking, how do they make their own happiness, or how can they be happy? The truth is that you have to chart the course of your happiness. You have to be intentional about your happiness. You cannot borrow happiness from somebody else's relationship. You have to make your marriage what you want it to see. First of all, you have to visualize, what does happiness, or what would happiness look like in my marriage? And then what can I do to bring it here, to create that happiness? Because like you're saying, a lot of people try to mirror their relationship based on somebody else's relationship, and it's totally different. So have a vision of your happiness, articulate that, and what your role in that would be, and what his role in that would be, and what your children's role in that would be, and work towards it.
And then before we go, we want to also say thank you guys for doing this, and you guys are amazing. And I also want to use this opportunity to say to my wife openly to the whole world that I will love her. I love her, and I will always love her.
Aww.
And nothing
now.
That the vow I made 13 years ago, I would always repeat. If I have the opportunity to marry again and again, it will always be.
Fantastic.
That's sweet. If you try out all of what they've proposed today and it's still not working, feel free to contact them. You will find their contact details on the YouTube channel.
And if you're not subscribed, smash that subscribe button. Hit it, and then press the bell.
Yes, it's been awesome doing this. Happy birthday, guys! Love you.
Love you guys. Bye.
Oh, did I say birthday? Happy
anniversary!
We love you. Thank you.
Love you too.
Thank you for coming. Thank you all. Have an amazing day.
Bye.
Bye.